I'm Adrian Beck from IB Times UK, and we're here at the Grove Hotel in Hertfordshire. The Minnesota Vikings are staying here ahead of their massive game against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Wembley on Sunday. With interest growing in the sport, and with English players Menelik Watson and Lawrence Okoye both earning contracts, we decided to talk to the Minnesota players to find out whether they thought a franchise could ever come over to London, or perhaps even to Europe. What have you made of the whole experience of coming over and being based here? As you said, you're on kind of a bad run at the minute, but getting together and having a camp away, is that kind of a good thing for you?
I think it's a good thing. You know, we get to come over here, we get to adapt to not only the culture, but also the change in time, and we get to have a little bit of fun while we do it. So it's just a normal week for us and just game preparation.
What about the whole travelling there? Is that tough?
It's an 8-hour flight, you know, slept 6 hours, sit up for 2.
That's not so bad.
So I got a good one in, but, you know, it wasn't that bad. You feel it the next day. You don't feel it when you get off the plane, so it wasn't bad at all.
I mean, luckily a couple of British guys have actually made it into the NFL this year. There's a guy called Menelik Watson, another one called Lawrence Okoye.
I actually know Menelik Watson.
Okay, so yeah, Menelik's just made it. I mean, do you think that's a good thing in terms of for English sort of fans to see some English guys getting in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, you know, because not only is it an American sport, but it's a team sport and anybody can play it. If you're good, you can come on over and play, so you might as well talk to Coach Fraser. You can join the team if you want, you know.
And also there's a bit of talk that they'd one day like to have maybe a franchise in London or over in Europe at some point. Do you think that could work?
Yeah, I think it could work. You know, it's a lot that goes into that. I wouldn't know what really would go into it, you know, but I know one thing is how you're going to travel. And I was talking to somebody who's like, man, we probably do a game here and 3 on the road, and then a game here and 3 on the road. So, you know, it's different. It's a lot to think about. And American team living in London, so you got to move your family out to London. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot that they got to think about. So,
if it happens, something you maybe be interested in, do you reckon?
If it happens, I actually don't want it to be the Vikings. I'm okay in Minnesota.
Happy Minnesota.
But if it does, you know, I'll be more than happy to come over here and live. It's not hard at all. The only thing I think got to get used to is driving on the wrong side of the road.
We're talking to a couple of the guys earlier about being all together. Obviously, a trip away like this, you can't really get away from each other, but in some ways, is that quite good for bonding?
I feel like we're in training camp again. It's like an extra week of bonding. I have to see too much of our snapper and punter, so it's fun, though.
And how did you find sort of travelling over? Obviously, there's been a bit of talk about trying to set up a team over here, like a franchise in either the UK or somewhere in Europe. Could you see that working at all?
I could see it working if the right parameters were set up. The schedule would definitely have to be conducive for the team to play more than one away game every time they went to America. I could see it happening, though. I think that the fans would be very passionate about it over here, and they'd have a good fan base, and I think you could attract players here. I really do.
I was going to say that's probably one of the main factors, actually getting guys to want to leave America and actually come up and play.
Yep.
Obviously, we've seen it in other sports, so you think, as you said, it can maybe work over here?
Absolutely. I definitely think it could work. I mean, guys are more open to it now than they probably were 10 years ago. So I think even I don't think this plan is going to happen until, 2018 maybe or something.
Like
so, you know, I think by the time that really sets in, guys will even be more willing to do it.
And luckily, we've been quite fortunate this season. Lawrence Okoye and Menelik Watson, 2 English guys, have both got contracts in the NFL. Do you think that's quite a good thing for trying to attract new fans from this country as well and getting them to play the sport?
That's awesome. I think you hit it right on the head there. I mean, you got 2 guys that have contracts that are of British descent, and that's awesome. And
just talking about the fact that you've kind of been together now, you guys have been over here for a couple of days already, you've got a few days more. How have you found the whole bonding with the team, obviously being over here for such a time? Has it brought you kind of closer together, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like a game week, a work week for us, but it's also been similar to what our training camp would be like, because normally we get isolated away from our families and we're around each other literally 24/7. So I would say on that level it does help bond and the chemistry of the team, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
There's been a bit of talk about trying to start up a franchise over here, whether it's in London or in Europe. Could you see that possibly working one day?
Yeah, I can definitely see that possibly working. It would come down to logistics.
Yeah.
I think, and that's always been the big elephant in the room. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you do like a 3-game, kind of series here, 3-game series back in the United States? Like, how does that work, and how would you have your facilities? Because I think that just the jet lag issue would be the problem with that.
I mean, we've been quite fortunate this season that there's been 2 British guys, Menelik Watson and Lawrence Okoye, that both managed to get contracts in the NFL.
Right.
Do you think that's quite good for the sport in terms of from a British perspective, so
Certainly.
that kids are kind of encouraged to play it, really?
Absolutely. I mean, once you have someone from your area become a professional in whatever respective sport, it certainly helps grow that popularity. And I guess the more professional athletes from the UK that end up playing football, the more popularity it gives, football.